12, John.
I would create that coherence. I go into my office, close the door. 3 minutes is a minimum. And here's why I say 3 minutes. What the science shows is that after 3 minutes of good coherence, I mean, really, real good coherence, the effects last up to 6 hours after those 3 minutes. Among those effects, first of all, the DHEA level of the human body. DHEA is a precursor to every hormone in the body, including testosterone for performance. Progesterone, estrogen, the DHEA levels will increase 100% in the body. No change in diet, no supplements, because this is our internal medicine cabinet. This is what we're doing. After 3 minutes, the cortisol levels, the stress hormones, will decrease by about 23% during that same 3 minutes. And those effects will continue. So it optimizes, the physiology for sleep. If you're going to have a difficult conversation with your partner that you share your life with, or a business partner, here's what happens. And this is getting into some of the psychology of coherence. When you create heart-brain coherence, you begin to think literally from the neural network in the heart. Here's why that's important. The neural network in the brain is based on the left brain and the right brain. That's polarity. Left brain and right brain is the ego. You're always going to have good and bad and right and wrong and success and failure, worthy, not worthy, which are good sometimes. But when you create the coherence before a difficult conversation, here's what happens, Will, and this is so powerful, is that you're not in that ego loop. So you're going to hear from the heart. The heart's not a polarity organ like the brain is. So that means you can take criticism better without a knee-jerk response and saying something you wish you hadn't said, or escalating a heated situation that's already going to be heated anyway. This allows you, doesn't affect, you're not making anybody else do anything, but you are choosing how you respond, and your response will influence how other people will respond. I was the youngest in the corporate boardroom. I was the first technical operations manager at Cisco Systems in Palo Alto, California, when Cisco was just beginning. I was youngest in the boardroom. And when I had an idea, and I knew that idea was going to get shot down, this was right in the early 90s, right when HeartMath folks were sharing information. I would use this technique, and I would still take the hits. But this is one of those things, you just have to experience it. Words, I can describe it, but words will fail. You have to experience it because you're still taking the hits. You're still hearing the criticism, but it feels different. It means something different, and you can allow for it. And you're not just manning up and putting on a facade. It literally, it's not inciting the anger. You're not stuffing the anger because you're hearing it differently. It empowers you or me or whoever it is to listen to the other person in a really healthy way. And it really helps to diffuse for leaders. And if you're talking about athletic performance, everyone in that team is a leader in their own specialty. And together, those leaders all form the team. And when ego comes into a team, we all know what that can do, because it's true on an athletic team, it's true in a corporate boardroom. Sure. It can destroy the bond of the team. So it's not, in the Western way of thinking, I was born and raised in a very conservative rural community in northern Missouri in the 1950s. And we didn't think like this. Okay. In those days, the idea of resilience, if you had a tough time, the idea of resilience was suck it up and get over it. That was your resilience, and just man through, just power through. We have a whole generation of men who died young from hypertension, cardiac events, because they never learned. They powered through with a facade to the outside world, but inside they were still seething with the anger or the hate or the feelings of lack of self-worth. And what coherence does is it gives us the ability to transcend, to become the best version of ourselves. You don't have to stuff it because you're not feeling that anger. You're hearing another person's opinion, and that's their opinion. It doesn't mean it's right, wrong, good, or bad. It doesn't mean it's true. And so this is a very, very powerful tool in psychology as well. And psychology is a big part of any athletic performance.